All right, now since the new season started, we've been getting a lot of great feedback, so thanks so much for that. That's awesome. But one of the things that we've been seeing reoccurring has been kind of the noticeable lack of methyl alcohol on set. And I assure you, nothing has changed in that department. You know, it's just podcasters' prerogative, considering our
demographic.
yes,
That's
our
the word.
younger demographic. And I promise you, I'm not on the methyl alcohol either right now. I'm just got out of surgery. Show must go on. And Wes has been getting it on with the custom cocktail cabinet.
Cabinets.
Try saying that 3 times
That's
fast.
a tongue twister.
What's up with this?
This was just something we thought of a long time ago, and I finally got around to doing it. It was pretty much inspired when you threw the cold cathodes behind the liquor bottles, and it was like, oh, that looks cool. And I that's when I got the idea to build a cabinet to fit in that window and do the same thing, only using LEDs, so it would be prettier.
Mm-hmm. And so what are the materials, real quick, that we're using here, and how this all works?
Well, we're using pine for the wood. We've got a Merlot stain, polyurethane, bunch of screws, LEDs, some resistors, switches, stuff like that. You know, basic stuff to do in LED circuitry.
And what would you say is the total cost of a behemoth like this?
Somewhere in the neighborhoods of $150, somewhere in that neighborhood, give or take. You know, local prices and what you actually decide to build it out of. We made it out of select pine, which is the cheapest of all the woods. You can go, and that was like what, $15 a board.
Right, now why pine?
Pine, it's cheap and it still looked halfway decent. You can make it out of white oak, red oak, poplar, but red oak was almost $30 a board, so we went with the pine.
Yeah, and this is soft too.
Yeah, it's soft, easy work, it easily works, stuff like that. And it's not a whole lot of carpentry involved. It was just all butt joints, where you just nail it all together, stain it, finish it, sand it.
Okay, so the staining, that's what's really made this pop. I mean, it's not like, you know, I guess everybody remembers the arcade cabinet before we put the contact paper.
Well, that was
over
MDF, and MDF just kind of looks like garbage by itself. MDF's designed to be painted or covered in some sort of way. Now with pine, with real wood grain like this, you want to set it off, and that's when you'd use a stain, like this right here. You know, this is Olympus Merlot colored stain, or Olympic, excuse me. And that's why we decided to use it. Of course, it's all a matter of personal preference.
Now, what are the steps involved if somebody's new to the idea of staining wood? How does that work?
You just rub it in with the grain, put it on fairly heavily, and then 15 minutes to an hour later, you come back and wipe it all down, and that'll smooth it out and make it look really good. And if you decide you need to, you can put multiple coats of stain on to darken the color.
Okay, so sand, wipe down, stain with the grain.
Correct.
Let that sit for a little while.
Now you're going to more or less sand it down again after that's dry. It's going to take about 24 hours to be dry. And then you use not sandpaper anymore, but steel wool like this right here. And this is what's called 4/0, which means 40 gauge steel wool, which is ultra fine, and all that's going to do is smooth it out. And then you can go on and put your polyurethane on, which is actually which gives it this nice shiny.
Okay.
You know, it gives it that nice glossy feeling, and this is polyurethane right here.
Gotta love the shiny. In fact, my coat's feeling a little brown right now, so it's shiny.
Did you get it on sale?
Yeah, I got it on sale.
I bet you did. But this is polyurethane right here, and this goes on just like paint or stain. It goes with the grain. Let it dry. You want to rub it down with the 4/0 again, and put at least 2 coats on.
So what's the trick with applying the poly?
You want to use something like this sponge right here, this sponge brush, because it's very, very cheap. It's a couple of cents a brush, and with that, once you're done, you throw it away.
Okay.
Once you use poly
because
on
you can't
something,
reuse
it's garbage.
those.
Right.
Gotcha. Awesome. Now, the coolest aspect and the geekiest aspect, of course, is the fact that we've got these LED glowy stuff at the bottom, illuminating our cocktail bottles or beverage bottles, whatever.
Yes, tasty beverage bottles.
Tasty beverages. Okay.
And those work on a really simple 2x6 parallel circuit.
Okay, so how does that work?
It sounds more complicated than what it is, but I've got it set up on the breadboard here. Assuming that there's a power source coming here, your positive would go to the anode, or the positive side of an LED, because LEDs are unidirectional. They have a positive and a negative.
One's an anode, and then the other being the cathode?
Cathode, yes. Anode positive, cathode negative. And you just run from positive to anode, cathode to resistor, back to negative.
Okay, so why the resistor?
The resistor's there because we're using a 9-volt power supply, and these are 3.2 volts, an LED with a 30 milliamp usage.
Okay, so how do you figure out what size. This is a 100 ohm
Yes. Resistor.
resistor, and how do you figure out what ohm resistor per?
Well, we found this really, really good website. It's a great utility, a great tool, resource, that's what I was looking for doing any kind of LED circuitry, because all you have to do is tell it how many LEDs you're using, the forward voltage, the 3.2 volts, and the amount of electricity used, which is the 30 milliamps, and supply voltage, and it'll give you the best layout to do it, which that's where we got the 6x2. Or 2x6, excuse me. One or the other.
Sure.
Dyslexia kicked in. Doesn't matter. And resistor. It'll tell you all that. It'll tell you exactly how to do it. It'll give you a schematic or a diagram. It'll even pop it out in ANSI if you so desired.
ANSI for the win.
Sure. Awesome. Whatever floats your boat. But it's really simple, and all you have to do is you do this circuit, and then you lather, rinse, and repeat to finish it. Now, this 100 ohms is only for our 9-volt battery. It will.
Oh, okay.
Yes,
gotcha. And we've even added a little switch mabobber here.
Yeah, a switch, a little rocker switch, kind of like that.
Switches over here, so it can turn on and off the
and there's
LEDs.
Single throw, single pole.
And what would you say life expectancies on these LEDs?
About 1,100 hours. So assuming they might run for 4 hours a night. You know, 4 hours for every night they're actually
That'd
used.
be assuming that we're using this every night with the cocktails. I don't think that's going to
I'm saying, like, you know, when we have our big party on the 9th.
Yes, on the 9th. That's going to be awesome. Williamsburg, Virginia, Hack 5 kicks it off.
They'll be running for, like, what, 10 hours?
Something like that.
But it'll look good.
Any other resources that you want to mention for anybody that's looking to do something similar?
For anybody that's looking to do some really good or get their hands on some really good LED projects, there's this one gentleman that goes by Alan. I can't pronounce his last name. He's based out of Canada. He's got amazing, amazing LED projects. And one in particular is he actually installed ultra bright LEDs in his stairwell to illuminate it when you broke an infrared barrier.
Why? Ballroom, as they say.
Because it was a really dark hallway, and so he just it would be easy.
That's awesome. Okay, and of course, anybody with crazy mod ideas or wants to shoot stuff by Wes,
please email me. Let me know. I want to hear all about them.
Hit up the mod section. It's the mod/hack/code section on the forums.
Right.
Because we always like, you know, you finish your mod, go ahead and post some pics and tell us all about it there.
So that's pretty much it here. Let's
head over to Allie and see what's going on.